Perfect timing for Lou today. Look at this, right? He's coming at the beginning of the show. Good morning, Love Wrestling. Welcome in. I apologize for how I probably sound. I feel worse, I assure you. But we are here. We are going to muscle through today. And it is Tuesday, February 11th. We are firmly WWE. You see Drew here with his glasses. Oh, here's Lou. Drew and Lou, coming to the start the show. There he goes. Already done. He's already done. But good morning, everybody. Welcome in for another edition of Firmly WWE here on Love Wrestling. Yeah. Drew, before we get started, I'm on medicine, so I am heavily medicated and woozy. So, I mean, that's what we're doing. We're going to kill this show because that's what we do. But yeah, I'm on fumes, brother. I don't know if you can tell by the way I sound, but I'm on fumes.
I'm riding high right now. I'm yeeting and yeeting
Hell
and yeeting
yeah.
and yeeting. It's just...
We're going to talk about him in a second. First and foremost, though, how was the weekend, Drew? How you doing? How's everything in the land of Drew?
Fine. Everything's fine in the land of Drew. I have a lot of Yeet merch now because I have fully bought in, and I'm the train's rolling, and there's no brakes, and it's just going to crash into the wall, and I am right in the conductor's seat, ready to crash into that wall.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Sounds like you've already crashed into the wall.
Brother, let me tell you. We were talking beforehand because I got on here, and the first thing, you didn't even say hello to me. You just went, "Oh, you sound awful." And I went, "Thanks." Good morning, Drew. So that's why I was like, good morning to you. Scott, I will ban you from the chat. If I see any Eagles bullshit. And then we're not doing that today. Congratulations. You won. It's baseball season. Let's talk about a real sport. So I don't want to see it. Congrats. God bless. Next time anybody puts that in the chat, I'm banning you for the day. So anyway, I digress. I mean,
what happens when you do that is people don't listen to you.
Yeah, it's fine. Listen, Sunday night, as much as I was going to lose either way, no matter who won that game, Joe was losing. JPJ was losing. But it was kind of a best case scenario. I'm a Patriots fan, obviously, and the Chiefs got embarrassed. And Patrick Mahomes had one of the worst performances in the history of the Super Bowl and football. And as a Patriots fan, that was probably the best case scenario, to be honest with you, because now everybody can shut up. Because he's not Tom Brady. Okay? Can we stop now? Thanks. Okay, let's talk about
the Super Bowl the moment it ended.
That's fair. So it actually ended up being a best case scenario. It ended up being a best case scenario for your boy, even though I root for nothing positive to happen to the people of Philadelphia. But besides that point, we have to talk about, before we dive into Raw and we start talking about, we have to talk about, the unfortunate side of the wrestling business. Over the weekend, WWE had a slew of releases that happened. So I did want to touch on that just a smidge. Obviously, wish the best to everybody. Nobody wants to see anybody lose their jobs and things of that nature. Like that's never a good thing. But we are in a wrestling landscape where there's a lot of opportunity for these people to go and continue to do what they love and earn money and get a good paycheck. And like, a lot of these people unfortunately weren't being used. And, so, the reports came in over the weekend. Paul Ellering and the Authors of Pain were released. Cedric Alexander as well. Sonya Deville wasn't technically released, but she was told. We're going to dive into the AEW people after this, Sandy, because I do think that ties in with WWE. And I think that kind of ties into maybe why these releases happened, because they needed to afford 2 or 3 people to get on the roster of WWE, and soon. But yes, so Cedric Alexander, Paul Ellering, Authors of Pain. Sonya Deville wasn't released, but she was informed that they would not be renewing her contract. Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, Giovanni Vinci, and the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Those were all.
That one surprised me.
A few of them, and then we found out. I think it's been confirmed since, but Elektra Lopez as well.
Yes,
I believe was added to that. That one actually shocked me a little bit because she was literally on SmackDown. She was on SmackDown in a segment, like talking about a match that's coming up on this week's SmackDown. And then she is gone by the time the weekend ends. Obviously, are there any of these? You just said the Good Brothers kind of shocked you a little bit. Carl Anderson is still hurt, so they haven't been on TV or anything, like, I know, at all. Are there any, like, are those the main 2 of this group that shocked you? Is there anybody that truly shocks you in this group when you hear that they're no longer around?
Really, I think the Good Brothers were the most shocking. Who didn't surprise me was Giovanni Vinci. That did not surprise me.
Yeah, that shouldn't have been a shock. They gave him all these vignettes. They had him lose in 2 seconds twice, and then we never saw him again. So that didn't shock me. Isla Dawn, kind of.
That one was surprising.
She was a tag team champion. She was a tag team champion last year.
Like 2-3 months ago.
Wasn't
it 4 months ago?
Yeah.
Because they won it in.
They won it in
the Ireland show.
Yes. Yeah. Whenever that. Yeah. I thought, listen, Sonya Deville as well was she's clearly, and I know Pure Fusion Collective, it doesn't really hit as a group, but like she was clearly like the leader of the group. They had been wrestling on Raw. She was in the Royal Rumble. Like they had been kind of a focal point of the shows, even though they, not saying that anything they were doing had like major substance to it, but like they were on almost every week on Raw doing something. So I thought that was kind of shocking. The Blair Davenport one for me, like obviously they weren't using her, but that is a person that I assume she is going to get interest from almost any wrestling company in the world for her, because she is very, very good. And she, to me, is a perfect example of when they call people up without a plan. Because they called her up out of nowhere when they did that draft, and they didn't do anything with her. They had her. I was there SummerSlam weekend on and the SmackDown on SummerSlam, where they had her join Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, and it looked like they were forming a faction with those 3, and then it just didn't happen. She was in the tournament for the United States Championship. She was in one of those first round 3-ways. Nothing after that. It was just, she's one of those people that it didn't shock me she was released, sadly, but she's very good. She's very good. She should have been utilized more than she was. I know Lawrence says something about like work visas for the people that like aren't, from the United States and stuff like that. He gets nervous and things like that. But
hopefully that doesn't affect anything for them.
Yeah. Who knows?
Cedric Alexander, I think, if we're gonna talk who makes sense somewhere, Cedric.
That's a
Syndicate.
No-brainer. Yeah.
AEW. That's like
we'll have
100%.
to see. We'll have to see how that works though, because I don't know if cooler heads have prevailed from when Tony Khan and Big Swole had their issues years and years ago.
Oh, I forgot
That
about
did
that.
not end well, and Cedric Alexander is married to Big Swole. So I don't. Again, they're all professionals. It should work, but I have been told that the Hurt Syndicate has already been pushing AEW brass to go get Cedric Alexander to join them. That would make perfect sense. I just don't know, because I know there was some bad stuff on Big Swole's exit from AEW and Cedric being, I don't know how that would work out if that is a thing. It's a long time ago. I assume hopefully we're past that, but I don't know. But that would make the most sense to me. I could see Blair Davenport ending up in TNA. I think that would be a good landing spot for her. She could also go to AEW with her connections there. They had her there before.
Probably, also the good thing too about the silver lining when you see a slew of releases like this. Now that they have the partnership with TNA, some of them easily could slot right in over there.
Oh yeah.
So,
and some of them could eventually
Blair
in the
Davenport,
future.
I think would make a very good TNA addition.
Absolutely. And if she a lot of these people too, we've kind of seen, especially with Triple H in charge, like just because they got released this time doesn't mean that they won't ever end up back in WWE. You know what I mean? Blair Davenport gets released. If she goes to TNA or goes to New Japan or whatever, and she's killing it, who says a year from now they don't bring her back if they have more concrete plans for her? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
those things can happen too.
I think Sonya Deville, when she is officially gone, would do very well in AEW.
That's fair. I think Sonya Deville could be an actress as well if she wanted to not wrestle anymore. I think she is somebody that I see that could get into that as well. I wouldn't be shocked if the Good Brothers end up back in WWE. They seem like one of those teams that gets signed, then gets released, then comes back, then does this. And, I wouldn't be shocked if sometime down the line, because Carl Anderson is still hurt. It's not like they're going to automatically end up somewhere. Okay, he had a major injury, so he's still injured and recovering. And AOP, not that I'm shocked they got released, but they brought him back. They were under contract for almost a year and weren't used. Then they lined him up with Karrion Kross in the Final Testament. They did a few little things, and then they kind of just did nothing, and now that whole group has been dismantled besides Kross and Scarlett. So,
who Scarlett we also haven't seen lately.
No, she did that little thing with Nikki Cross with the Wyatt Six, but they're on SmackDown now, so I don't know. But on the other side,
doesn't mean that they're going to release her.
I don't think they would. I don't know if Cross wouldn't really have any say in that, but I doubt they would. I doubt they would do that because I think they have plans for Cross, and I think that she would be part of them.
Are they? They're together in real life?
They're married. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah. I think they're married. They're definitely together. They've been together for a long time, but I'm pretty sure they're married. So then on the other side of things, and I know we talk about AEW on Thursdays, but yesterday we also had some big news on the AEW front that 3 wrestlers for them are no longer under contract. And those 3 wrestlers would be Malachi Black, formerly known as Aleister Black in WWE, Miro, formerly known as Rusev in WWE, and 1 Ricky Starks. And now we know, the Ricky Starks saga speaks for itself. It's been one of the biggest stories in wrestling for a year and a half, what's been going on with him. He is officially free to sign anywhere. There is no non-compete. He does not have to wait 90 days. I actually think we could see Ricky Starks as early as Saturday night at Vengeance Day in NXT. I honestly think Ricky Starks could show up there because, and I know you're not an avid NXT watcher, Drew, but they've been teasing a new faction in NXT that feels like it's going to debut at Vengeance Day. They've been showing silhouettes of 4 individuals at the ends of the show and things like that. And for the regular viewers, the 4 names that have been out there in speculation on NXT are Saquon Sugars, Keanu Carver, Cutler James, and Dion Lennox. Now, I know what you're thinking. I never heard of any of them. Now,
Well, that's not true.
Dion
I
Lennox.
have heard of Dion Lennox.
Yes, because he's been on TV. Okay. So
Well,
here's my thing.
Not
here's
for
my
that exactly.
Oh, wow. What have you heard about him?
I just know him because he's very attractive.
Oh, fair. So here's my thing. Right?
I'm a simple person.
Yeah, that's fair. So the four of those guys, I know who they are. They've been, whatever. To me, if the four guys that they're showing in the
Did you
silhouette,
say Saquon Sugars?
Saquon Sugars, spelled Shugars, Sugars. So it says, eagle-eyed viewers of NXT are putting out the names of Saquon. I think it's Saquon. It's spelled like Saquon Barkley, so I'm calling him Saquon. Saquon Sugars, Keanu Carver, Dion Lennox, and Cutler James seem to be the speculation of the four. So
you
now,
want to talk about that name, those list of names that came out that are like, there's like a Tate Wilder or
wait, for
something.
what?
Did you see those names?
No. For what?
Because that just sounded like that list of names.
Oh, yeah. So you know what I think?
Probably
is I think those four names, right? If that's what we've been seeing, none of those guys are a leader of that group. But you know who could be a leader of that group? Ricky Starks.
Wilder.
No, Ricky Starks.
Tate
Ricky
Wilder.
Starks. Those are names they copyrighted. Oh, I get it. Fair. I think Ricky Starks showing up immediately, having a faction like that, immediately makes him a big-time player, a main eventer, and at the top of the NXT men's division. Because if you look at the top of the NXT men's division, there's not a lot of depth to it. You got Obafemi, you got Trick Williams, and then there's a whole lot of good guys, but not top guys to me. Eddie Thorpe, yeah, he's fine. Wesley is fine. Tony D'Angelo is fine. I like these guys, but they're fine. They're not. I look at Obafemi and I go, that's a top guy right there. I look at Trick Williams, I go, that's a top guy right there. I don't know if I see that with any other guys on the men's roster in NXT besides those two guys. I don't know if I see that. And I think Ricky Starks showing up and having a faction behind his back, Ricky Starks showing up anyway immediately puts him near the top. But if he has a group like that and he makes a big impression as early as Saturday, I could see that happening. And then the other two guys, Malachi Black and Miro, those are Triple H guys. Triple H had them in NXT as Rusev and as Aleister Black. They obviously went to the main roster and they never really lived up to their potential. But that was the old regime. But those are two of Triple H's guys. So I would not be shocked at some point if we also see Aleister Black and Rusev back.
Rusev, Miro might have a little bit of issues, I think, right now, unless they've squashed that beef, because, a certain Mr. Damian Priest was seeing his ex.
Look, if you guys choose to here's my thing. You get divorced or you get whatever, I get it. But like, if you're getting divorced, you can't care what the other, you know what I mean?
No, I'm not saying that there's even necessarily anything there. Just that, there'll have to be talks, obviously. Yeah. Just to make sure that everything is smoothed over and it's all good. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I feel like Malachi and Ricky are shoo-ins right now. I don't think Rusev is yet. I think they might wait on Rusev. Maybe Rusev goes and does something else. I don't know if I don't see him immediately in WWE. I see,
but I also don't know what the. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, finish your thought.
I see Aleister and I see Ricky.
I think Ricky's going to be there on Saturday. I really think that Ricky Starks will be there at Vengeance Day on Saturday. If not, he'll be there next two. I expect Ricky Starks to be here imminently.
They'll probably show him in the crowd.
I wouldn't be shocked or something. Yeah, it's been a while since they've kind of did that old school NXT debut where they're in the crowd first and everyone's like, oh, shit. That would be cool. I just think that Ricky Starks is going to be the first one we see. I would expect Aleister Black to potentially end up on SmackDown That's where Selena Vega is now. They are husband and wife in real life. So I would expect Aleister Black, if he were to come back, to be on the SmackDown brand. I hope he gets his own music back, because that was one of the best themes ever.
No man is ever truly good.
Yeah, that band rules, by the way. In general, that band rules. But yes, so I did want to touch base on that because there were releases and news on contract fronts on both companies that I think kind of coincide with each other. So I at least wanted to talk about that before we dive in to the episode of Raw. But let's get to the episode of Raw. It took place in Nashville, Tennessee. Fernando, I honestly don't know. I assume that they do, like WWE, there are no competes. I just know that, at least on the Ricky Starks front, he does not have one. He does not have one. He's good to go. The other two,
if Ricky doesn't have one, they all don't have one.
That's my thought. That's my thought. Now, again, I wouldn't expect to see Rusev and Aleister Black as soon as I think we see Ricky Starks. But yeah, I would expect. I could see Aleister Black showing up like the SmackDown after Mania. I could see that happening. I could see Rusev showing up the Raw after Mania as one of these big returns. I could see that happening. I don't think they would come back and be factored into Mania plans, so I would hold it off. I don't think you have to have a big return now, especially if they're not going to be penciled into Mania stuff. But I think those guys both returning sometime after Mania in the summer or right after Mania, that's perfect. Put one on Raw, one on SmackDown, perfect.
This is like that interesting window now where pretty much the WrestleMania plans are put in place. So
I mean, I think that's why Jordynne Grace is going to NXT. She doesn't need to go to NXT. She should be on the main roster, but I don't think they didn't pencil her into WrestleMania plans.
Right.
So they're like, You're just going to go to NXT until after Mania, then we're going to bring you up. I think that's the only reason she's going there, is because they're like, yeah, go do some cool stuff in NXT until after Mania, then we'll have you on the main roster. Because she does not need to go to NXT at all. I think that's part of it, because I think you just nailed it, Drew. I think we are in the Mania plans aren't set yet because we still have Chamber and there's still a little way to go. But like, we are in that stretch where they know what they want to do for Mania. And if you're not on the card, you're not on the card, you know?
Right.
And I don't bringing back an Aleister Black before WrestleMania to feature him as a big return, and then he's not going to be on WrestleMania, or he's going to be in a fucking battle royal or some shit. That's not the best way to do that. You know what I mean? So if Rusev is coming back, I feel like you want to make that a big deal. And him showing up and then not doing anything of substance for the first month he's back because it's Mania, it doesn't make sense, right? Fernando, I agree. I think Jordynne Grace is one of those people that should have gone straight to the main roster, but I think the time of the season we're in is the main reason why it's not happening, because I think when she gets to the main roster, they are going to feature her heavy very quickly. And I think she's going to be going for world titles sooner than later. And I think her being on the main roster before Mania, if there's no big Mania match for her, doesn't make sense. So they're like, you can go to NXT and you can, do what you got to do down there, fight some of those girls. And then after Mania,
it's not like there's nothing for her to do.
Exactly. There's Julia,
NXT
there's Stephanie Bakura, there's Zarya.
Huge promotion that has the women's division there. Some people talk of as the best women's division in wrestling right now.
Yeah, 100%. So there's going to be plenty for her to do until after Mania, where things kind of thin out, and then you can kind of go that way. But, all right, Monday Night Raw, it happened in Nashville, Tennessee last night. Music City. Wait, is Memphis Music City? No, Nashville's Music City, right? Yeah. Have you ever been to Nashville, Drew?
Nope.
I've been once. What a time, dude. What a time. That Broadway is I would suggest that everybody experiences Broadway in Nashville at least once in their life, because holy moly. Wow. But you can't be there more than like 3 or 4 days. It's not one of those things where you're like, hey, I'm going to be here for a week.
I'm supposed to be going to this is like way in advance planning, but there's going to be, like, you kind of threw this at me for next week. I'm going to give you way in advance planning for November. There aren't going to be many firmly shows for me in November because I'm going to be taking a little bit of a break going down to Florida. I have a wedding to go to. Not the whole month. Well, maybe like a week and a half.
Oh.
So there'll be like a couple of shows where I'm not going to be
November's a long time from now, Drew. I could be dead.
I could be dead.
Yeah. The world could end, which I think it might actually happen. We'll see. Fernando, I disagree, but we're going to dive into it right now. So,
is it time to eat?
Well, he did start the show. Main event, Jey Uso started the show. He comes down again, just continues to be massively over everywhere he goes. Again, another week of me going, tell me again that this guy shouldn't have won the Royal Rumble. Please, someone tell me. Because it doesn't look like the crowd is upset that man won the Royal Rumble. The only people that are the fucking nerds on the internet. Anyway, Jey Uso starts the show. He comes out. He's yeeting. He's doing all his stuff. Can I tell you though, Drew? And the way that it played out, I'm gonna let it play out. I thought it was cute and I thought it was cool when they were doing the run back thing. Like I thought last week after the Rumble, the encore was very cool. They did it on SmackDown. Cool. Last night, okay, enough. I don't need this shit.
The crowd wanted it though.
I don't give a shit. I don't need this happening every show. Do not do the WWE thing when you bury a cool thing and make it uncool in a week and a half because it's already uncool.
I don't think it's uncool at all.
It's uncool. 3 shows in a row. Give me a break.
I will yeet all day long.
Every show is too much. The shit will be boring in 2 weeks. Now, I think the way that they did it last night, I don't think they're going to do it anymore. Because they did the encore, everyone was going nuts, and I loved the camera shot of Jey Uso on top of the announce table, and they're showing him from the crowd, and you see him eating, and then out of nowhere, he just drops out of frame. And it's like, what the hell happened to Jey? And then you see that Gunther attacks him from behind. Gunther then takes off his... This was the most incredible part of this whole thing. Gunther then takes off his jacket, and he goes to whip it at Pat McAfee. And Pat McAfee ducks.
Reflexes of a cat.
Yes. Pat McAfee ducks out of the way, and that jacket directly hit a child in his face and knocked a child over. And I was laughing my ass off. Laughing my ass off the whole time. And you could see McAfee was checking on that kid the whole rest of this segment because he knew he fucked up.
Yeah.
He knew he messed up. And then Gunther beats the absolute piss out of Jey Uso, leaves him laying in the ring, gets some major heat, which I loved. He gets to get separated. He goes back. He hits him with a power bomb. He gets separated. He breaks through the security, gives him another power bomb. And then they finally get Gunther out of there. And he's up near the ramp getting ready to leave. And Jey Uso, who's beaten down, grabs a mic. And he can barely talk, but he says, he goes, I don't know if I should be saying this. He goes, but you and me, WrestleMania. So Jey Uso makes his decision. It is official. We got the first WrestleMania match graphic last night, Drew. That was the first match graphic for WrestleMania we got last night. It is official. Jey Uso will be challenging Gunther for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. I expect that match to open night 1, and I expect Jey Uso to win the world title. It's going to open.
It is not opening.
Jey Uso's entrance will be the first thing that we see at WrestleMania. He's not main eventing. Roman will main event. He's not main eventing. That match is not big enough to main event.
They've got 2 months to make it the main event.
It's not going to. No, I think WrestleMania starts. It's a 2-night show. WrestleMania starts. The first thing you want people to see is that Jey Uso entrance with 90,000 people losing their fucking minds to like some big grandiose, because it's going to be Jey Uso's entrance times 100 because it's WrestleMania. You know what I mean? And I think you open the show with Jey Uso. His first entrance is the first thing that anybody sees that's turning into WrestleMania. And it's 90,000 people losing their damn minds for Jey Uso, yeeting whatever rapper or celebrity or whatever they do for his major mania. And I think that's how you open the show. I think that's how you open the show. And he's going to win the title. And it's going to be that moment that we're going to see on the WrestleMania highlight reel for the rest of time, is him holding that belt with the whole crowd losing their minds. I think that opens the show.
He does not main event.
He's not going to main event. He's not going to main event. Roman Reigns is a main event. Roman Reigns will main event. And the main event of night 2 will probably be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. I would assume that will be the main event of WrestleMania. Will be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes on night 2. And I think, again, I think it would be cool. I'm a traditionalist in some things. I think if you win the Royal Rumble, both male and female, you should main event one night of WrestleMania. That is why you win the Royal Rumble. They've kind of changed the verbiage for a chance to win the title, but you win the Royal Rumble to main event WrestleMania. So yeah, I'm a traditionalist in that way. However, I don't think so.
I think literally main event Jey Uso.
But we also know that WWE will call 5 matches the main event at WrestleMania. They will say a main event match.
First match.
Yes, that's what they will say. Because do you think Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton are going to main event one of the nights? Probably not, right? If you had to guess, like, you think Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton will main event one of the nights of WrestleMania? Because I can almost guarantee they will not, but they will call that match a main event match at WrestleMania. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. That's how they work. And Sandy just said it. When Jey finally wins the champ, when he wins the belt, he will then main event every match because he will be the world champion. But he is not going to be main eventing either of those nights at WrestleMania. Shameful. He will open night 1. That match will open night 1. That is my prediction.
Literally,
but anyway,
in his name.
I get it. It's just that match to me is, with the other things they potentially have planned, that match is nowhere close to a top 2 match that weekend. So I do not see Jey Uso winning.
Main right thing, Triple H. Do the right thing.
With that being said, I actually think that that match is going to be great, him and Gunther. I think that's going to be a real, real good one. People forget that Gunther is literally one of the best wrestlers in the world. Yeah. Well, you got Sunday Sinner saying that he's going to win the belt, but he's going to be a short run and he's going to be used as a transitional champ. We'll see. But I thought this opening segment was really good. Again, Triple H loves his opening brawls, dude. He loves them.
It hasn't been an every week thing anymore. But
I agree. But I thought this was really well done. I love the camera work here. I loved setting up the match. I'm glad that Jey was the first one to have the match. Like, I'm all in it. On that. I think the match should be good. Then we had a backstage interview with Rhea Ripley. She's showing her. Yeah, you can. She's showing her frustration, saying that Charlotte is stalling and wasting everyone's time.
Oh, it's blue in here now. I'm not even kidding.
I don't know why you were wearing those. I don't know why you were wearing those to begin with.
Your face looks red to me right now.
Well, I am.
Well, that's also probably because you're sick.
I am sick.
But, yeah, wow. 30 minutes.
Yeah. So Charlotte is. Yeah. So Rhea Ripley complains that Charlotte's stalling and wasting everyone's time and not picking anybody. So she's frustrated. And then Io Sky and Dakota Kai roll up. And Io says, "Hey, you cost me a chance to get into the Elimination Chamber." And Io says, "Don't worry, I will see you at WrestleMania." And that's how that. Why are you putting those back on? Do not put them back on.
I'm not putting it back on. I'm doing the Jey Uso thing.
First of all, that's the Guy Fieri thing. Get it right. So Jey Uso stole that from Guy Fieri. He's been doing that shit for 12 years.
Fuck Guy Fieri.
Okay. Why? What the hell did he do to you?
He's took over the Food Network, and I want to see other things.
And he has the best show on the Food Network that's ever existed in Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Why would you shit on him? What the hell did he do to anybody? I don't know if he's a good guy or not. He might be shitty, but I don't know. But he seems like a great guy. You don't like the Tournament of Champions, bro? This shit's dope. Anyway,
I don't need to be taken to Flavor Town. Thank you very much.
Well, sorry that you don't like fun. So literally, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives might be the best food show to ever exist in the history of food shows. And you're gonna sit here. You're gonna sit
Never
here and tell
gone
me.
to one diner, drive-in, or dive as a result of watching that show.
Well, you're going to Florida. What you should do is Google places in Florida where you're going to be for that wedding that were on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and you should go because the places that he goes are dominant. We actually I have some in the area. He's been to a couple places in my area. Delicious. But anyway, I digress. That is the Guy Fieri minute here on Firmly WWE. We then have our first match of the evening, Drew, and Sandy just said it. He said, "Happy Dakota is back." Dakota Kai was back. It was her and Io Sky, Damage Control, versus Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I loved this match. They beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
In this match.
You could tell from Liv's face.
Oh, Liv had a gnarly cut. She was bleeding. That top rope code breaker that she gave Io Sky, that looked like she broke Io Sky's nose. That's how good that looked. Io looked like she was banged up. Liv was bleeding everywhere. These two, this match, because Sunday Center, because it was good. It was good. Again, I talked about this last night. Like, since when is it bad for slop? Like, okay. So like Sunday, and I'm not getting on you, Sunday Center. You know I like you. I'm not getting on you, but when you say it was so sloppy, yeah, they're fighting. We've gotten so spoiled as wrestling fans that like we watch these matches and we expect everything to be so crisp and everything to be perfect that when things look sloppy, we're like, that was bad. No, it's not. These are fucking pure athletes fighting in a match for 20 minutes, out of breath, wrestling, fighting. Like, not everything is supposed to be clean and crisp. They're supposed to be, I just don't know why. Like, it's one thing if the whole match is like awful and there's like messed up spots and messed up things. There was none of that.
We'll be talking about that soon.
Yeah, but again, in that match, because I know what match you're talking about, I didn't have a problem with those either. I thought that match ruled as well.
Really?
Yes. I thought all the wrestling on this show was awesome. I thought all the matches were really, really good.
That other match was.
If you again agree to disagree, but like if you did not like,
and I'm not even just saying that because of the person that was in it.
And look, everything is subjective. Everything is subjective. But this was, in my opinion, this was the best Raw since they've gone to Netflix. Easily, to me. I thought it was the best Raw since they've gone to Netflix, especially in ring. That's what I thought. Now, we're in that weird spot where like the Elimination Chamber is still 2.5 weeks away. Mania is 2 months away. So like storyline wise, nothing like really progressed. Really. But I thought from beginning to end, especially in the ring, I thought this was one of the best Raw they've had since they've done the move to Netflix. But I love this tag match. I thought they beat the crap out of each other. I thought it was violent. I was back and forth. The crowd was super into it. I thought everybody looked good. I thought Dakota Kai looked really good from coming back from the concussion. I thought the spots that they even did for Raquel looked great. I thought it was all the way around. Io Sky ends up getting the win with the moonsault. Io just rules at everything. But I thought for the opening match of the show, I thought this was very, very good. I actually thought Liv Morgan and Raquel were going to win, to be honest with you.
So did I.
But I was actually happy to see Io get the victory. But yeah, I thought this was a great opening tag match. Just beat the crap out of each other. It was good. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah, it was. I find it strange when, especially in a heel tag team, one of the participants uses their teammate to do other moves. So, like, Raquel is power bombing Liv Morgan onto someone.
Yeah.
That Liv should not want that because that's hurting her too. And then the spot that she got busted open on was the spot
Yeah, she's
that
swinging her and
she's
hitting her.
swinging her around.
Yeah, so
Like,
she definitely got caught. Her eye got caught
I
somewhere.
if we're in a tag team, I don't want you power bombing me onto someone, nor do I want you swinging my body into people as well, because that's gonna hurt me.
It's fair.
Nobody should want that.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I don't
So,
disagree.
I mean, the match was great. I'm not saying that the match was
No,
bad.
I very
I'm
much
just
liked it.
saying that that's like a weird. It's just a weird thing, and especially from a heel tag team, that really doesn't mix. I could see a babyface tag team doing that, but
Mm.
heel, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna take the smaller woman and I'm gonna throw her around the ring and just wail her at people.
Yeah.
Use her like a human kendo stick.
Yeah.
I just no. Don't do that to me.
I mean, it looked effective. It looked effective.
It looked effective, and then you could tell it affected.
Well, that was just an accident. Obviously, that wasn't supposed to. She got caught.
Well, no,
I'm assuming an
obviously
outfit
it was
or
an accident.
yeah, but it added to the match though. It added to the match. Her bleeding. Let me tell you. So we then went from that. What I liked is obviously we had the opening segment with Jey Uso and Gunther, which lasted 10 minutes or so, but the whole first hour was the ladies in the ring, which I liked. I like that tag match. And then we transitioned right into an Elimination Chamber qualifying match between Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Roxanne Perez was at ringside for this one. And we also found out, Drew, which I'm very happy about, that Roxanne Perez is fighting next week. She's fighting Raquel Rodriguez one-on-one to qualify for the Elimination Chamber match. And I think Roxanne Perez is going to get in that chamber, Drew. I think she's going to be in that chamber match.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think she makes sense for that match.
I agree.
Hopefully she doesn't start flinging Liv around again.
Yeah. Sandy, it looks like
brutal.
Yeah. It looks like Roxanne is on the main roster. I know she's obviously going to be in the NXT Women's Championship match on Saturday at Vengeance Day, but I would expect that might be one of, if not her last NXT match, because I do believe she is on the main roster moving forward. I expect her to be fighting Bayley at WrestleMania in a one-on-one match. But we had this Bayley and Lyra Valkyria match. Now, this match, even though I very much enjoyed it as well, I thought it was a very good match. I thought it was a good showcase. There were a couple spots here and a couple moves here that were a little clunky in this one. I think both of them, Lyra Valkyria hit a swinging DDT that didn't really fully connect the way that it was supposed to, and Bayley whipped out a new move that didn't look that great. But all in all, this was another really good competitive match, hard hitting again between these two. This was a really good showcase for Lyra. You could tell that Bayley was there to make Lyra look really, really good. And she did. Lyra's great in the ring. Bayley's one of the greatest of all time in the ring.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to see the Women's Intercontinental Championship in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once,
and I talked about this.
Showing her in the crowd.
Yeah. And I talked about this last night. I was doing the watch along on my channel with Josh, and I was like, Lyra Valkyria has been the Intercontinental Champion for a month now, and she hasn't defended it once. So now it seems like they're leaning into a story now, finally, with Ivy Nile. It seems like Ivy Nile is going to be the first challenger, like, in story for Lyra, which I'm all for. I am all for that. I like what they're doing with American Made, actually, which we'll talk about them in a little bit.
Me too.
But I'm glad that it looks like they're starting to give Lyra a story and a feud for her IC championship. But why did we have to wait a month? What is Chelsea Green doing on the other side with the U.S. title? Is she feuding with her and Mia Yim has been good, but what else is happening? She's been the champion for 2 months, and she's barely defended it. So, I'm glad you created these titles, everybody was happy you created these titles because there was more opportunity for the women. Well, when are we getting the fucking storylines for the women? I would hope those titles are going to be defended at WrestleMania. I would hope. You know? So,
well, remember, there's also WrestleMania SmackDown.
Doesn't count.
So
nope. Kiss my ass with that. Does not count. Does not count. Yeah, but see, so Sinner, here's my problem. You say that, but do you remember the NXT women's division when Triple H was running NXT? It was the best women's division in the planet. The NXT women's division right now, which isn't being run by Triple H, but it's being run by Shawn Michaels, who is under Triple H's umbrella. They align with how they view things. It is arguably the best women's division in the world. So I don't want to sit here and say Triple H doesn't know how to book the women's division. I just think right now WWE doesn't care about booking the women's division. And that is a problem.
Yeah, that is a problem.
That is a problem.
I mean, I'm not someone that studies this and is like, oh, look at the downward trend of what they've been doing over the past couple of years and all that stuff. I leave that to the social media people. But I am not in the giving leeway to Triple H in booking anymore that a lot of people kind of still are. I mean, it's been 3 years at this point. I think the honeymoon period is pretty much over.
It's fair.
But we'll see. I mean, it was nice to see her in the ring, and now she is going to have a feud with Ivy Nile,
which I like.
They could have did that a month ago, but
well,
for me, and I said this, people were shitting on me for this, but that they specifically advertised the Raw on Netflix debut that the winner was going to be crowned, the IC title was going to be crowned on the debut of Netflix, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh yeah, actually that's the next week. And I don't even think it was the main event of that show.
No, it was. Was it?
It was.
I don't remember.
Probably
wasn't.
Like, oh, okay. I feel like for that first hugely watched show, to see a brand new title be crowned would be a big deal.
Yeah, it should have been.
People were like, no, this, The Rock and everything else that happened and all the thank you Netflix. Have you thanked Netflix today?
Yeah,
thank you Netflix. Also, I have to say, not thank you to Netflix, because once again I was locked out on my computer and I had to watch on my phone. So
at least the stream last night was good. There was no bullshit buffering.
There was no stream
the week before.
Thank you Netflix for fixing that.
The week before was bad.
So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully now she's featured more regularly as a champion on the show.
I agree. We get a hype reel for Penta. This was very good. Where he's kind of talking.
Everybody, please thank you Netflix on the chat. Could we all have to thank Netflix?
I ain't thinking shit. So we get a hype reel for Penta. He's cutting a promo behind like fire and stuff. It was a very cool looking promo. He's talking about how he has no fear. Obviously, he's talking about Ludwig Kaiser, Pete Dunne. He says, I'll teach them both what true vengeance is like. I thought it was a very cool aesthetic. They continue to just nail Penta, just nail him perfectly. Like, he didn't wrestle on this Raw. This was the first Raw that he hasn't wrestled in since his debut. And I think that's a good thing, because if he's on Raw every week wrestling, we know how fans are. They'll get sick of him in a month. So I thought it was good that they just kind of did a promo for him. He wasn't wrestling. Give him a little bit of a break, give the crowd a little bit of a break, because that makes you want to see him wrestle more. Get how that works? Fernando, I think we might be heading that way. Although they teased something with Braun Breaker that we're going to talk about that put it in my veins, brother. But so we saw that. And then it transitioned over to Ludwig Kaiser being interviewed backstage. Pete Dunne rolls up. He says, hey, last week I wasn't going out there to help you. I was going out there because I owe Penta some stuff because he embarrassed me. He goes, and I'm going to break Penta so bad he's going to wish he never came here, which I thought was pretty good. And then Kaiser says, hey, man.
Who said he wrestled on main event? Who did?
Oh, Penta. He was on main event. Penta was on main event. He wrestled before Raw for the crowd.
On main event?
Yeah, why not? They have big guys wrestle on main event all the time.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
They want people. That was like the mid-carder show.
No. They have top guys and girls wrestle on main event. Not all the time, but yeah, they have top guys wrestle. They want people to watch main event. And if Penta's on main event, guess what? There are people out there that will go out of their way to watch that.
I don't even know how to watch main event at this point.
I think it's online only, I think. I don't even know if it's on Peacock. I don't even know. I don't watch main event. Obviously, I'll watch the matches when I'm there live. They do them before the show, but apparently Penta wrestled on main event before the show. So that was him for the crowd. And then we got the promo, and now we got to look forward to next week where he's fighting Pete Dunne again. So Ludwig Kaiser goes, hey man, he's all yours. He's all yours, man. You have him next week. And then we saw AJ Styles walk by Ludwig Kaiser. And they had a little face down, which, yes, I will watch that match any day of the week. And then AJ Styles made his return. He goes down to the ring, gets a really, really big ovation. Really big ovation, a gigantic AJ Styles chant. That whole arena was chanting AJ Styles. And you could tell that meant a lot to him. You could tell that he was feeling good about that. He goes in, he says, I'm having major deja vu right now. He goes, a couple months ago, I came back into this building. I had the biggest smile on my face. This is where I started. This is my stomping ground. I was going to get my career back on track, and then I got hurt. He goes, but I still got gas in the tank. I got something to prove. He goes, getting back here was difficult, but he says, anything worth doing is going to be hard, and now I'm in the ring in Nashville, and I am back. And then we hear Dominic Mysterio's music hit. And Dominic Mysterio and Carlito make their way to the ring. Dom gets on the mic, getting drowned out in boos, as we are so often used to when it comes to Dom. Yes. He says it's been a while since AJ was on Raw, and things have changed a little bit. Then him and Carlito start yelling at the crowd in Spanish, which just infuriates the crowd even more because white people. And then Styles says, you can save your breath. Yeah. Styles says, I know who you are. He goes, and you're right. Things have changed. And he kind of looks and he goes, where's Damian Priest at? He goes, anybody see Damian Priest? No. And then he goes to the crowd and he goes, hey guys, can you help me? He goes, y'all see Rhea Ripley over here? And the crowd's, whatever. And he goes, I don't see Finn Balor even. He goes, things have changed. Yeah. And he goes, all I see is a guy in purple skinny jeans. And he points to Carlito. And he goes, and Dominic. He goes, a guy no one likes and who will always be Rey Mysterio's punk-ass kid. It's a good line. Good line by AJ. And then Dom goes to hit him. AJ stops it. They start brawling. AJ hits a Pele kick on Carlito. Mysterio gets the better of him for a little bit. And then he tries to go for a 619. AJ reverses it. He ends up hitting a phenomenal forearm on Carlito. And that's kind of the end of this segment. And we find out later on that next week we are going to get AJ Styles Raw return in a match. He's going to fight Dominic Mysterio. I think Dom is a perfect opponent for that
very much
match. So. I think that match will be more than good. I like this segment, Drew. I liked it. I think AJ Styles being back with his old music, his old phenomenal good guy, I think there's a breath of fresh air for AJ. And I think the crowd obviously wants to root for him, that we like AJ. So I thought this was a really well done segment.
Yeah, I could see this AJ going far.
Yep, I agree.
Because it's been since his debut, really. I mean, I feel like, has he been more of a heel than a babyface?
In general, I bet you if you timed it out, it's probably pretty even. But I thought he was more He was more successful as a heel. He was world champion when he was a heel. He was world champion than when he was a heel.
Right.
I feel like more than a baby face.
Because he had a stint as a heel with Omos. He had a stint as a heel with the Good Brothers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But he
And then
was
by
super
himself
over.
also.
When he was on SmackDown and he was the good guy, the house that AJ Styles, but he was over as fuck. He was over that. This is the house that AJ Styles built. Like that was like he was good guy. Top. He was SmackDown. Like he carried that show for a while. Yeah, dude. Hey, look at. I don't know how much he says he has gas left in the tank. I don't know how much gas he does have left in the tank. It seems like he probably has a good amount. He's one of the all-time greats in ring ever. And if this is his last run, whether it's a year, 6 months, whatever it is, yeah. You know what we need to see one more time this year? John Cena versus AJ Styles. That needs to happen one more time.
Oh, that would be nice.
Because that was a good rivalry. And that Royal Rumble match they had, I think in 2016 or 2018, whatever it was, that one-on-one Royal Rumble match they had, that is one of Cena's best matches in his career. Yeah. All right. We then move on. That would be cool, actually. That would be cool, Sandy. If AJ kind of did a one-off return to TNA. I think that would be cool. You know, you noticed last night when they announced AJ, they said former 2-time WWE champion, former 2-time TNA heavyweight. Like, you know, they use that TNA thing as a as a, you know.
Well, I mean, they have partnered with them now.
Well, so. I know, but I think that's cool though. They used to not do that shit. Like, I think that's cool how they like, you know. All right. We then have Seth Rollins being interviewed in the Okerlund position up in the crowd there, that new little thing that they've created, the Okerlund position. He is being interviewed. He says he feels great. He's ready for the path to WrestleMania, is getting clearer by the second. He said Jey Uso challenged Gunther, which means all eyes are on Cody Rhodes, which means all eyes are on the Elimination Chamber and the man who's going to win. And he goes, and I'll give you a hint. He's a visionary. He's a revolutionary. He goes, he's Seth freaking Rollins. But he goes, and then Finn Balor rolls up. And Finn goes, yeah, all eyes are on you, Seth. He goes, but the only thing people are going to see is your downfall. He goes, the only thing between me, Finn Balor, and a path to WrestleMania is a guy that's falling apart, which Seth is.
Yeah.
They are leaning into that. Seth is going heel because he is falling apart on the inside. He's playing it off that he ain't. He's playing it off that everything is hunky-dory and he's the same old Seth Rollins. Inside, he is crumbling. He is crumbling. And when he loses at the Elimination Chamber, I expect the night after on Raw, full heel turn from Seth Rollins. It's happening.
Well, the reason why the title of this is the way that it is, where's Seth Rollins' head at? Because you can tell, and I totally agree with you. You took the words right out of my mouth. He's spiraling on the inside. He is not well. His head is not where it needs to be right now. And he is playing it off. But he pretty much snapped at Royal Rumble. And that was like that start of, something's going on in there.
Yep.
And this, you know, revolutionary and visionary and all this laughing and is masking what's really going on inside.
100%. 100%. That was a tease. What happened at the Royal Rumble was a tease. You know, and so Finn basically says, next week, it's you and me. The winner goes to the chamber. I'm still expecting Seth Rollins to win and be in the chamber. And then I think something happens at the chamber that causes Seth to have the meltdown, like the full-on meltdown. Like Roman. I don't think Roman's going to be in the chamber match, but I think Roman might show up and cost. I think Roman is going to be the reason that Seth and or CM Punk don't win. I think just Seth. I think it's going to be. Here's my thing.
Maybe.
And we can talk this out, obviously, because we have time, but like, I think that this is, and we mentioned it last week, I think this is going to be billed as Seth versus Roman. One-on-one. And then I think CM Punk is going to use his favor to insert himself in this match. That's what I think, because I do think John Cena and CM Punk should be the final two in the chamber. That just makes the most sense in the world to me. And I also think that nobody should cost CM Punk that. Nobody should cost CM Punk that. I mean, yeah, Scott, like everybody, I've been alluding to it for a month. It's kind of written there for us. It's not like it's shocking news, but that's what they're going to do.
If anything, it should be Drew.
It should be Drew and Punk that start the chamber.
No. I'm saying if anybody should cost Punk, it should be Drew. But that's not the direction that they're leading.
No. I don't think anybody's going to cost Punk. I think Punk's just going to lose straight up to Cena. Just straight up.
Probably, yeah.
I think that's what happens. I could see Punk and Drew starting the chamber, and they're inside a cage. They're one-on-one again for 5 minutes. We relive, oh, shit, like all that stuff. The Rumble already happened, bro. You're behind the times.
They probably mean the chamber.
I assume, and he's not winning the chamber. John Cena is going to win the Elimination Chamber. I would love if Punk won the chamber. I really would. Because that promo from a couple weeks ago with Punk and Cody, I still remember that. And I still would very much like that match. But I think if you start it with Punk and Drew, and then you end it with Punk and Cena, ooh, baby. That's nice. That's a nice little. And I'm also not against Punk and Cena starting it and ending it. Like, what if you had Punk and Cena? What if you had Punk and Cena start it, and then at the end it ends up being them two again? I think it's better if you do Punk and Drew, and then it gets to Punk and Cena. I just have that visual of them in Toronto. I just have that visual of them in Toronto in front of 65, 70,000 people, because they're doing it where the Blue Jays play at the Rogers Center. So it's going to be a big baseball stadium that they're at. I just have the vision of it ending up being them two, and they kind of turn around and have that face-to-face with each other, and it's Punk and Cena, and that crowd is losing their friggin' mind.
Yeah.
Just losing their mind.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
That's what I'm saying. We're thinking about it right now. I got goosebumps, dude. Like, I'm already like, oh, like, give me that. Well, every wrestling fan in the world will be like, oh, okay. Yeah, sold me a ticket. But with that being said, I do expect Seth to win next week, but I also think it would be nuts if something happened that caused Seth to lose. And then Finn Balor gets into the chamber. Because Seth ain't winning the chamber, right?
I kind of feel like...
What if Roman comes back next week and costs
Finn
Seth?
Should
win, right? Yeah, I think he needs a win. Finn needs something like that, I think. Whereas Seth, if he's spiraling, this just adds to the spiral.
Right. Yeah, because what'll happen, I think, is that they're going to... So they've been sowing the seeds of dissension with Judgment Day for months now. But I think they're going to help him win against Seth.
You think Judgment Day will?
Judgment Day, yeah.
Okay.
They're going to help Finn. It's going to be all hunky-dory, like, hey, everything's good. Judgment Day is fine. Like the Dark Order stuff. Judgment Day is fine. And then in an effort to help Finn, will end up screwing him over at Elimination Chamber. And that will get maybe Finn versus Dom at WrestleMania.
Maybe. I do think that Finn Balor will be a babyface soon. I thought it would go the other way, and Dom would be the babyface, but I think they're going to hold that up. I think that Finn is going to be the one that gets kicked out of Judgment Day, and I think that he's going to be a babyface.
The boos are too organic still.
Agreed.
Dom. I don't think you turn him yet.
Not yet. I think at some point Dom will be a big time babyface. I think for sure, but not now. I think Finn is the guy that my thing is, again, and we'll move on from Seth Rollins here in a minute, but Seth Rollins has been so, as he is, he's been so confident that he's just going to go to the Elimination Chamber and he's just going to win the Elimination Chamber. That's how he's talking, as he should. He should be confident. But like the way he's talking about it, it's like a foregone conclusion in his mind, right? And we're talking about him spiraling out of control. So what would make him spiral more out of control? Him going to Elimination Chamber and being in there with six guys and losing, or him not even making it to Elimination Chamber?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? To me, him being so sure that he's going to just get to Elimination Chamber and win it, and then he doesn't even make it to Elimination Chamber,
because
he will lose his mind.
All he's wanted to do before the Royal Rumble was stay away from Roman Reigns. But then, since the Rumble, all he wants to do is get his hands on Roman Reigns.
Yep.
So he wants to be in that chamber match. He's getting in that chamber because he's going to get his hands on Roman. He's going to get his hands on Punk. He's going to get his hands on Drew. But Drew's not in the Elimination Chamber, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He is? Okay.
Yeah.
But then he is the odd man out, and he loses against Finn. That sets up the spiral, and he's going to snap. He's already kind of, like I said, he snapped at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
That double foot stomp to Roman's head.
Yep.
Out on the outside. That was like, I've never seen that before.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be that hatred and that anger brewing in him. Mm-hmm. And the best way out of Elimination Chamber for Punk and for Roman is Seth maybe either breaks into the chamber or is outside the chamber, brawling with them again like they were in Royal Rumble. And that leads to, well, this is the obvious match for WrestleMania.
Yep. Listen, I think there's multiple ways that they can go about it. I'm very interested to see how it goes. All right, we then had a WWE World Tag Team Championship match. And again, this was another good one. This was another really, really good match. The ending, obviously, was to set up another match between these teams. But this was a really good back and forth tag team match. For the last couple minutes before the DQ, I was sitting there going, oh, I think the Creeds are going to win this. Oh, wait, no. The War Raiders are going to retain. Oh, I think the Creeds are going to, like, I was going back and forth the whole time. And it gets to the point where the Creeds look like they are going to go down and the War Raiders are going to retain. And Julius Creed grabs one of the titles and he hits Ivar with one of the tag titles, causing a disqualification. And then after the match, they beat down the War Raiders with the tag titles, and the Creeds are holding the tag titles up high, standing over the laid out War Raiders. And I will say this, those tag titles look pretty damn good with the Creeds. They look pretty damn good with the Creeds.
I think that's going to be happening soon. Maybe Elimination Chamber, that's a title match.
I think that would be a perfect tag match to add to the Elimination Chamber card. And I think the next time they have this match, I do think the Creeds will win. And I think the Creeds will become the tag. I feel like this has been too long since the Creeds have been involved. Like, they should have been involved with tag team titles way before now. Way before now. They've been on the main roster for a little bit now, like a little bit. And the fact that this is really it feels like this feels like their first main sniff in the tag title picture. And that's too long. The Creeds are great. I actually like what they're doing with American Alpha in general. Chad Gable a couple weeks ago said, hey guys, I'm going to take off for a little bit here. I'm going to go learn the dark arts of Lucha Libre, whatever that means. And he's like, but I want you, Ivy, to win the women's IC title, and I want you guys to win the tag goals. So when I come back, you're all champions. And then when I come back, I'm going to win a belt. And I think we're going to get that. And I think it starts with the Creeds. I think it starts with the Creeds. But I thought this match was really good. I thought this match was very good between the Creeds and the War Raiders. I'm very much looking forward to a rematch. Two great teams. We then had another Damage Control segment. They were in the clubhouse. Finn Balor's berating Liv Morgan. He's saying, you should listen to me next time, kind of going into that. Dom kind of stands up and says, who cares? He goes, we got a lot of opportunities coming up. And Finn kind of rags on Dom about being made to look a fool by AJ Styles. Mysterio says, I'm going to take care of business next week. And Dom says, hey, I've been thinking, I think we should get a new member because we're a little undermanned since the JD stuff. And Finn immediately is like, no, we're not getting a new member. Whose fault is it that JD got hurt? Like, that's kind of the vibe he did. And then Finn just basically says, look, I'm going to win the chamber. I'm going to go to WrestleMania and I'm going to become champion. And that's how this segment ends. So I do think Dom leading into a new member, I think that's kind of going to be the way that Finn leaves. Is I think they'll have a new, I don't know who that new member could be, but.
Oh. We know who the new member is.
Do we?
It's going to be Aleister Black.
That was the person that was on my mind. I think he's going to be on SmackDown, though, with his wife.
They don't have to be together.
I agree. I think Aleister
it makes a lot of sense
for Aleister
Black to be the leader of Judgment Day. A lot of sense.
He would fit. He would fit big time. But yeah. So yeah, again, moving forward with the Judgment Day stuff. Yeah. We then again had another backstage segment with Damage Control, and Rhea Ripley shows up. Rhea Ripley says, EO, I don't owe you anything, and I'm not giving you a match because I feel I have to, but I'm giving you a match because I want to. And she says, I talked to Adam Pearce in the Raw after Elimination Chamber. It will be Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's World Championship. This kind of caught me off guard, Drew, because even though Io lost the Elimination Chamber qualifying match she had, I still expected Io to get into the chamber match somehow, like a last chance with all the losers to be the sixth, kind of something like that, because I still expect the WrestleMania match to be Rhea and Io. But now we're getting it the Raw after Elimination Chamber, which makes me think, are they going to do something completely different that I'm not expecting for Rhea at Mania? Even though I still, right now, I still think it's going to be Io and Rhea. But this made me think differently. How are you feeling about them doing this match, the Raw after Chamber, as opposed to Mania, like a lot of people think?
Then they can't do Rhea and Liv again. Like that's
no. I think they're going to be in the tag title picture. I think Liv and Raquel are going to be going for tag belts. I think
if they do Io after the Elimination Chamber, then that may mean
like who could they? Because Charlotte is probably going to go with Tiffany, right? Most people are thinking Charlotte and Tiffany.
That's what I think
is the way. So if they're doing this next, and this could lead. This could lead
in Charlotte again.
I mean, I wouldn't complain. They're both one-on-one with each other at Mania matches. The rubber match would make sense as well. Like, I wouldn't complain. Arguably, they had one of the best wrestling matches of all time at WrestleMania a couple of years ago, Rhea and Charlotte. Incredible WrestleMania match. Incredible. I wouldn't be against that, but at the same time, I feel like they're going to go Tiffany and Charlotte, which makes me think, like, what the hell's going on with Rhea? Because again, I thought it would be Io and Rhea at Mania. Do they do this match and then something happens and we still get that at Mania? Like there's some sort of schmoz or something, and there's not a real winner
in the chamber yet.
It's Liv, Bayley, Bianca. I think that's it right now. And then next week we have Raquel versus Roxanne. I assume it'll be Roxanne. I think on Friday we have another one that I'm forgetting about, but I think we have another one. But yeah, I think there's 4 dudes that have qualified and there's 3 girls currently. Pretty sure. So it's Liv, Bayley, and there's someone else. I've already said it. Bianca. I think those are the only 3 right now. Let me goose it just to make sure I'm not being a fool. But I'm pretty sure. That's the 3.
I just had a light bulb moment on something that I don't know why it was something that we just talked about that has nothing to do with what we're talking about now. And for some reason, the light bulb went off while you were talking. I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. So you remember when Chad...
Oh, Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is also in there.
Oh, Alexa Bliss was facing
Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Bayley. And then we have 2 more. Raquel and Roxanne is next week. And then I assume, would you throw Naomi in there?
Bliss, then.
You throw Naomi in there as the other SmackDown person. Naomi and Bianca kind of in there together. Right? Does that sound right? And then the 2 left. So then you have John Cena,
there's got to be some
CM Punk
between the 2 of them.
Yeah.
At some point.
Because you think Alexa Bliss? I mean, Alexa Bliss is super over because she just came back. I don't think Alexa Bliss gets. You think that's maybe why they were so shocked by her pop and her response that they're like, "Fuck it, we're going to go with her in a Mania match."
Maybe. I mean, she's held the title before. She's like 2 or 3 time women's champion.
She was the first ever woman to hold both the Raw and SmackDown women's world titles. First ever.
Right.
Alexa Bliss.
So, I mean, I could see it. She's got the dark persona, and that matches with Rhea.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte goes with Tiffany.
Could happen. Yeah, just them announcing this match the way they did for the night after the Chamber, it made me think, ooh, are they going in a different direction for Rhea than I thought at Mania? Because I've kind of thought it was Rhea and Io for a bit now. And this makes me think that maybe they're not doing that. So
my light bulb thing was, you remember when when they started like I have
Gable?
to like Chad Gable, yeah. When he mastering the lucha, the dark arts of lucha and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
Remember who he went to for assistance on that?
No.
Dominic Mysterio. And I've heard through the grapevine that I don't know if it's his wrestling school or something. It's something about dark arts and Aleister Black.
Mm-hmm.
So, introducing a new member into Judgment Day. He's just been released, or a free agent at least.
Mm-hmm.
I think you pretty much put 2 and 2 together there, and that means that Aleister Black is going to be the new leader of Judgment Day.
He could. You never know. Well, Judgment Day doesn't have leaders. That's why they're kicking Finn out, because Finn thinks he's the leader. Judgment Day doesn't have leaders. So
he'll be the leader.
I think Liv. I think Liv should be the leader. But yeah, that could happen. So I'm very interested to see how they go about this. I mean, look, at that match will main event the Raw after Elimination Chamber, and that match is going to be incredible with Rhea Ripley and Io. And like I said, there could be a schmoz at the end. Maybe there's a character shift of Io maybe after that, or there could be something where Io loses and then maybe we still get that match at Mania. They just kind of continue it. That's how they build the rivalry. But then at the end of the day, whoever wins the Chamber has to choose somebody. So I don't really know. We have to see who the other 2 people are in the Chamber as well, because we have an unfinished match at this current time. Okay. Then we had CM Punk hugging kids and telling us how great it is on a Monday night in Nashville. Who gives a shit? Enough.
Great to be alive.
Enough. And I love CM Punk, and I love CM Punk as a babyface. Stop it. I've been yelling. I'm going to say it every week. Stop hugging kids. Stop hugging kids.
I think that's going to be coming to a close soon. So.
Stop saying how great it is to be in. What are you, a pandering fool? You're CM Punk. You don't pander to the crowd. Oh, it's annoying. I need that. You can be a babyface, CM Punk. You're a great one. I need the curmudgeon. Where's the grumpy fuck that I need, CM Punk?
Just give him a Mindy's muffin.
There you go. There's Dan. It's great to be alive on a Tuesday morning in Cleveland watching my favorite Tuesday morning wrestling show. Absolutely. Dan, can you pull double duty next week? Because I'm on vacation and Drew needs a co-host both shows. You filled in admirably for me a few weeks ago.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens next week.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So here's the thing. This CM Punk promo, it did nothing for me.
Me neither. I don't even remember it.
The only thing that I liked is that he went after Cena. He went after Cena in it. And he said that, a lot of us have earned our right to get into the chamber with qualifying matches. And he goes, and one guy felt like he didn't have to. And he said, that's fine. You've earned that. You've been the guy here, whatever. He goes, but the bad news is I'm going to bust your ass at Elimination Chamber. So I liked how he went after Cena. I like that. But the rest of it was all whatever, He said, oh, Jay chose Gunther. Remember when I told Cody that I was going to stab him in the front, not the back? Well, now I have to. He kind of leaned into the Cena stuff. He did mention Drew McIntyre. And then he mentioned Seth Rollins. So he kind of went into his old feuds and stuff like that. But really there was nothing of like new. There was nothing new in this promo. No. And then Logan Paul enters. He gets out there, new music, new Titantron. He actually has not a generic Titantron, which I think, again, objectively not talking about the human. We all don't like the human. But when I'm talking, the new music was better than the old generic one he had. Him having an actual Titantron looks better than the old generic bullshit he had. So at least they did that. He gets out there. He's cutting a promo saying, you guys all cheer for him, but you boo me. He can't understand why you do that, blah, blah, blah. He said that I dumped his ass out at the Royal Rumble, which happened. That is true. That is true. And then Punk kind of goes, hey, man, sorry, I can't hear you. You're getting treated like Dominic Mysterio out here, which I thought was funny. He says, yeah, congrats. You eliminated me in the Royal Rumble. Good for you. Like, it is what it is. He goes, I would have mentioned you in my promo for the Elimination Chamber, but I forgot you even had a match. So, yeah, Punk, I forgot you were even here. Like, you even had a match. He goes, but if you're lucky enough to get past Rey Mysterio, I'll see you in Toronto, and I'll put you to sleep. And then Rey Mysterio comes out. Him and CM Punk do a dap. They dab each other. They dap each other on the way to the ring, maybe vomit. And then Rey Mysterio got in the ring. It's just disgusting. That is not CM Punk. Stop it. Yeah, and that was that. And then the main event of Raw was an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Sandy, I would say they equally get boos, but I would say Dom's boos are out of respect, and Logan's boos are out of hatred. That's that. But I feel like they're very much on the same level. I'm very much on the same level of boos. I just feel like one of them is like, hey, we appreciate you, so we're going to boo you because your character is we're going to boo you. And then the other one is like, why are you here? Why are you here? With that being said, Rey Mysterio is 50 years old. He is 50 years old, and he's still having matches like that last night. Good stuff. Logan Paul was fine. I knew he was going to win. It is what it is. This is not again, I don't like him as a person. I don't care for the promo. I don't care about him talking. The match was pretty good. I will say the new finisher that he busted out, good looking finisher. That was a good looking finisher by Logan Paul. I want to see how it looks when he does it on a regular sized human, not a little guy like Ray. But I thought a new finisher for Logan Paul. I believe Pat McAfee called it the Paulverizer on commentary, and Michael Cole said, I think we're going to stick with that. So I don't know if that was an in the moment thing by Pat or like that was planned. Listen, I don't disagree, Maria, but in the scheme of things and in the scheme of the product, he has every right to be pinning Rey Mysterio. He is higher on the totem pole currently in the booking decisions that WWE makes. And if you thought that Rey Mysterio was going to be in the Elimination Chamber over Logan Paul and you're legitimately upset about it, I don't know what to tell you. Because you should have known the second they announced this match that Logan Paul was winning. You should have known that immediately. Whether you like it or not, you should have known it immediately. You should have known it immediately. It is what it is. We all don't like the guy. We know where we stand with the guy. We have to objectively talk about it. And the main event, was it the best match on the show? No, it was not. But I thought it was a pretty damn good match. Ray can still go for being 50. He can still go. Logan Paul, athletically and in the ring, he's above average. He's above average. And it is what it is. And he gets that heat, and it is what it is. He wins. He's going to be in the chamber. He's not going to win the chamber, so everyone can stop crying. He's not going to win the chamber. Everybody can stop crying about Logan Paul to begin with. Like, he's here, guys. He's not going anywhere. So, like, I understand we all don't like him, but, like, we can't be crying about him every time we see him. Like, he's there, guys. We've liked a lot worse people than Logan Paul. We've liked a lot worse people. So, it is what it is. That's how I view it. That's how I view it. It is what it is. There are a lot of people that have been on our TV screens for our whole wrestling lives that were equally, if not bigger pieces of shit than Logan Paul. And we weren't crying every time they were on camera. So, like, enough. With that being said, yeah, the main event was the main event. I expected the outcome to go the way it did. I thought it was a good match. I thought Logan Paul showed he's a little sloppy with a couple of the bumps he takes. Like, it looks like he actually almost hurts himself on some of the bumps he takes. But yeah, I thought this was a good back and forth match, but the end of the match happened. Like I said, I did like the new finisher. I thought the finisher looked good. But other than that, it is what it is. I thought what happened after the match, right at the end of Raw for like 10 seconds before they went off the air with the New Day attacking Rey Mysterio, was the biggest story. That
was the most interesting part.
I mean, yeah. But yeah, I thought it was fine. Again, I thought it was a solid main event. It went the way that everybody thought it was going to go. Logan Paul being in the chamber is good for business. If you're talking strictly for business, he's got more followers than any other person in the company. So, like, if you're talking strictly from a business standpoint, he's obviously going to be in that match. Yeah, it is what it is. And he's probably going to fight AJ Styles at WrestleMania. And it will probably be great. And, yeah. And I would not be shocked.
AJ Styles?
I think that's where they're going to go.
That's so random.
No, they had a crossover in the Royal Rumble. They kind of teased to that. I think that is going to be his WrestleMania match. Will be him versus AJ Styles.
Well, maybe.
God. It should be him and Punk. I mean, the way they're doing it, it should be him and Punk. If you're being real, he eliminated Punk from the Rumble.
Yeah, right.
CM Punk on the SmackDown before the Rumble made fun of Logan Paul, and he made fun of KO, saying, "I never lost to Logan Paul." Then Logan Paul eliminates him in the Rumble. They have the segment last night. They're both going to be in the chamber together. Like, the way they're building this story, it feels like it should be Logan Paul versus CM Punk at WrestleMania. But I don't think CM Punk is going to be okay with that.
No.
As his WrestleMania match. So I don't think they're going to do that.
He gets to dictate whether or not he sees and wrestles Paul, unlike us other normal folk who never want to see him ever. But whatever.
You got to get over it. So, it is what it is. But, all right. Well, Scott's saying there was a 3-minute network exclusive. Dragon Lee came to help Ray, but got beat up too. Okay. Yeah, I was trying to think, like, so at the end, the New Day comes out right at the end of Raw. And they attack. No, it was like 5 seconds, really. They attack Rey Mysterio, and Raw goes off the air with the New Day beating down Ray. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, so who's going to be Ray's tag partner now? Because they already had the New Day versus Dragon Lee and Ray. And New Day won. Now, it was by cheap stuff. But New Day already won that match. Do we just run that back with Dragon Lee, or is Ray going to have to get a different partner? How do they do this?
I would say Ray and Dragon Lee, because I think judging from, I was going to talk about this earlier, but now that we're talking about the tag teaming stuff, I think what really ended up happening is I think AJ Styles and Penta team up together against Ludwig and Pete Dunne.
I think that could happen. I also think, one thing we glossed over. In the back, after the AJ Styles promo, he's back there with Adam Pearce. And they make the match for him and Dom next week. And then we got a face-to-face with him and Braun Breaker. And Braun Breaker was wearing a nifty cowboy hat. Let me tell you. He was wearing a nifty cowboy hat. But we had a face-to-face, and they stared at each other for a good 20 seconds or so, and then Braun Breaker just said, I'll see you around. And he walked away. And let me tell you.
For Mania as well.
AJ Styles. What if we do AJ Styles versus Penta versus Braun Breaker for the IC title at Mania?
Versus Logan Paul.
Could do that. I'd be okay with that. Fatal 4-way for the IC title.
IC title usually gets like the multi-man.
It's usually the tag belts. I feel like the IC title hasn't even been defended at every WrestleMania. What was the last time? Was the IC title defended last year?
Didn't Sammy?
Oh, yeah, he beat Gunther.
And Gunther? Yes. Yeah. That was this past WrestleMania.
Yeah, hold on. I want to see. Because I feel like the tag titles are usually. Right? I feel like the tag titles are usually.
I remember IC title ladder matches.
Well, they did that one in 32 that Zack Ryder won, right? That like 6 or 7 man Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
Right,
I did another one.
So Sami Zayn won it at WrestleMania. So before last year, which is April 6, 2024, Sami Zayn won it. The last WrestleMania that the IC title was defended on before that was in 2019. So it went 5 years without being defended, and that is when Finn Balor won it at WrestleMania 35.
Okay.
And then it did not get defended at a WrestleMania until last year at 2024 when Sami Zayn beat Gunther. And then before the Finn Balor one, the last person that won it, it did every year before that. Seth Rollins won it at WrestleMania 34. And then, they didn't do it at 33 because Zack Ryder won it at 32. So it's not even a title that gets defended at every WrestleMania. It should. But I wouldn't be opposed to a multi-man match for the IC title if they wanted to go that route. I kind of thought it would be Penta versus Braun Breaker for the IC title at Mania. I feel like that's where they were going. But if you want to throw AJ Styles, Logan Paul in there, I think that would be a great match. Those 4? Come on. It'd be ridiculous. I think that's a way to go.
Braun can do that ISO speed spear to Logan Paul. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I don't think that would happen. I mean, I think he could spear him, but I don't think it would be that. They wouldn't do it that way. But I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. If that ends up being the match, Sheamus involved in the IC title picture as well. He's had that history there too. So I do feel like maybe they do bust out the multi-man ladder match for Mania. And you get 5 or 6 of them in there. You could do Sheamus, Ludwig, Pete Dunne, Braun Breaker, Penta, and AJ. Oh, and Logan Paul, I guess you would throw in. There's different. You can do it. You can do it. They have enough that you can do it. And then we have to figure out what the hell they're doing with. Again, we have both women's mid-card titles. We got Shinsuke, who hasn't been doing jack shit since he won the U.S. title. Great presentation, brand new music, awesome looking presentation. He won the title, jack shit. Okay. Like, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that was Raw. I thought Raw was a good, like I said, in ring. I thought Raw was a great show. I thought the tag match between the ladies was awesome. I thought Bayley and Lyra was really good. I thought the tag title match was really good. Obviously there was the schmoz finish, but I thought the tag title match was really good. And as much as we hate one of the competitors, I thought the main event was pretty good too. I thought it was a great wrestling show.
I hate that guy. You don't hate that guy. I hate
that guy. I hate him as a human being. It is what it is. I can't have, again, if he does good stuff on my TV screen, I can't just automatically say it sucks because I don't like the guy. That's not fair, and that's not me being a biased person covering the show.
Well, no, so I wouldn't say that what he does sucks. I would say he sucks.
Exactly. And I openly said, as a person, don't like him. But at the end of the day, it was a good main event match between him and Ray. That's what it was. I would not be being fair if I just came on here and said that everything he does sucks because he's a terrible person.
You don't have to be fair to Logan Paul.
I agree, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here when he does a spot like he did with Ricochet a couple years ago at the Royal Rumble and sit here and go, that spot sucked. Wasn't a good spot because Logan Paul was in it. No, that was a fucking awesome spot. Like, it is what it is. Doesn't mean I like the guy. He's a piece of shit. But it is what it is. So that's why, in this kind of thing, we get on people. I get on you a little bit because that was a good main event match last night, and you didn't even talk about it when we're talking about Raw because you don't like one of the guys. That is not fair.
Well, I didn't think the match was very good. So,
but you didn't even say that. You just didn't talk about it at all because you hate a guy so much, which, again, valid reasons, but I don't think that's fair to the audience. Like, I think we have to objectively...
Enzo Amore already answered Dan Brown.
Well, yeah, Enzo would easily be the guy. But, however, there's only one good professional wrestler in that match. And it's the guy we don't want to say it is. So, You know what I'm saying? Of those three guys that Dan just mentioned in the chat, only one of those guys is actually a good professional wrestler.
Exactly. Tyrus.
Yeah, no.
So,
no. Come on. Do you remember that video of him running the ropes?
I'm joking, obviously. Hopefully Dan Brown was joking as well.
I know. Yeah, of course he was.
Probably he was. He's the comedian here, the professional comedian, unlike the two of us goof. You can find me at the Drew Nicholas on Twitter, Blue Sky. That's where I do shit. Just go look me up there. Just me Oos is here today because I was doing the gimmick with the glasses. If you didn't see that in the beginning of the show, please go back and watch that. My eyes are kind of still bothering me a little bit. So, support my work. Support my work, please. And maybe I'll have to get some real glasses at some point because I do this stuff to my eyes. For you people. I do this for all you people. Just remember that. So, yeah, follow me there and yada, yada. Go ahead. Your turn.
Fair enough. You know where to find me. JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. here with this guy talking WWE and AEW. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. The flagship show here, me and Pluggo. Between two beards. We haven't announced it yet, but we got a good guest coming on this week to talk some Vengeance Day.
I know who that guest is, and I like that guest very much.
You already know. How do you already know?
It was in the Slack.
All right, he already messaged you for the graphic. All right, I didn't see the Slack yet, but we haven't announced it publicly. But we got a good guest coming on Thursday night to talk some Vengeance Day and just talk the world of wrestling with us. On my own personal channels, yep, I am on Twitch playing games. Most days of the week, you can find me over there. And then Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays, we do watch-alongs to the WWE shows. Drew's been on a SmackDown with us. It's not one of those reaction watch-alongs, which those are fine. I don't shit on those people. They're fine, but it's not one of those. I'm not jumping up and down and screaming at a camera and things like that. I am very much a normal person watching wrestling in my house, which is just being excited, but not screaming and tipping my...
We should do... you know what we should do? We should do... we should do those thumbnail reaction people. You know, like how people have the thumb... like.
Yeah.
We should start doing that just to see what happens.
Again, those people, I've met a few of them. They are very, very nice people. That's fine. They're on WWE television. They're doing better than we are. They don't show us reacting to things on WWE television. They show them. That's all good for them. But at the same time, it's a very chilled out watch along. We just kind of chill out, hang out with friends, and watch some wrestling. So if you watch the shows on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, come hang out with us. It's a good time. Yeah, Fandango returning. He's fighting tonight. Fandango returning on NXT last week was not on my bingo card. But it also ruled. But he's in TNA now, so now they have that connection. So he came back, and they were singing the song, and they were doing the dance, Fandango, and good stuff. It was good stuff. I liked it. But yeah, that's where you can find us. That's where you can find me. You can find Drew and I Thursday morning at 10 a.m. for Firmly AEW. Hopefully, I will feel better and sound better. It's a lot of talking for a guy that is not feeling well.
But then then all of next week, you ain't around.
Yeah, I just found out yesterday. So a week before, I was reminded, oh, we're going away next week. I said, what? Oh yeah, you don't remember I told you? No. Yeah, we're going away. Okay, cool. So yeah, I won't be around next week. So we'll figure that out. Pay attention to the socials and all that fun stuff. We'll make some announcements. We'll see what we do. But yeah, Drew and I will see you on Thursday. Hopefully, I'll be alive. And until then, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for talking some WWE and some fun stuff like that. And until next time, y'all know the drill. That was gross. I apologize, but I couldn't breathe. Peace out.